We have spent a lot of time on this channel looking at the tricks. The bulbs made to burn out. The printers that block their own ink. The gadgets glued shut. The features held for ransom. And by now, you might be feeling a little hopeless. Like the whole game is rigged against you, and there is nothing you can do about it. But here is the good news. And it is very good news. All around the world, people have started to fight back. And they are winning. There is a movement growing bigger every year with a simple and powerful name. The right to repair. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It is the idea that if you buy a thing, you should be allowed to fix it. That is all. It should be obvious. But as we have seen, companies have spent decades making repair hard, and this movement is finally, forcefully, pushing back. In this video, for once, we are not just going to look at the trap. We're going to look at the people breaking it open. Because the tide is turning, and you are part of the reason why. Let's start with what the right to repair actually asks for. It is not complicated. It asks that when you buy something, you, and any repair shop you choose, should be able to get the spare parts. You should be able to get the instructions and the tools. And the company should not be allowed to lock the thing down with secret codes or paired parts to stop you from fixing it. Parts, tools, information, and no locks. That is it. That is the whole fight. Just the basic, common sense right to mend the things you own. And who is leading this fight? It is a wonderful mix of people. There are the repair experts who take gadgets apart and show the world how they are built and how to fix them. There are passionate campaigners who have become famous for standing up to giant companies and refusing to back down. And there are ordinary people everywhere who are simply tired of being told that their perfectly good things are trash. But some of the most powerful voices in this fight came from a place you might not expect. Farms. Let me tell you about the farmers, because their story changed everything. For a long time, farmers owned their tractors outright and fixed them themselves. A tractor is a farmer's lifeline, and out in the fields, far from any town, being able to fix your own machine is not a luxury. It is survival. But then the big tractor companies filled their machines with computers and locked them down. Suddenly, if a tractor broke, the farmer was not allowed to fix it. The machine would refuse to run until an official dealer, sometimes hundreds of miles away, came out with a special computer to unlock it. Farmers watched their crops sit rotting in the fields during the short and precious harvest because they were forbidden from repairing their own tractors. The farmers were furious, and they fought. They fought loudly and publicly, and they made the whole world pay attention. Because if even a farmer, out on his own land, could not fix his own tractor, then something had gone very wrong with the very idea of owning things. Their fight became a symbol for everyone, and it got real results. One giant tractor company was taken to court and agreed to pay farmers a huge sum, around $99 million, and to give them the tools and information to fix their own machines. And government watchdogs began going after these companies for unfairly locking people out of repairs. The farmers, in their muddy boots, helped crack the whole thing wide open. And the wins did not stop there. They started coming, one after another. Around the world, real laws are now being passed. In the United States, a growing list of states have passed strong right to repair laws. Places like California, Colorado, Minnesota, New York, and more. These laws force companies to sell the parts and share the manuals and tools so that you in your local shop can fix your own things. What was once just a hopeful idea is now becoming the actual law of the land in more and more places. And some of these new laws strike right at the sneakiest tricks of all. One state passed a law banning that nasty parts pairing trick, where a company uses secret codes to make even genuine parts stop working. Now, in that state, they are not allowed to do that anymore. A real part must be allowed to work like a real part. It is one of the first laws of its kind anywhere, and it strikes at the very heart of how companies kill repair. Across the ocean, a huge group of countries passed a big new rule of their own, a right to repair directive, forcing companies to make repairs easier and cheaper, and to actually tell people about their right to have things fixed. And remember that other law we talked about, forcing phone batteries to be replaceable again. All of it is part of the same rising tide. Law after law, place after place, the walls against repair are being torn down. And here is the most satisfying part of all. The giant companies are being forced to change. One of the biggest technology companies in the world, which had fought against repair for years, and made its devices famously hard to fix, suddenly changed its tune. It started letting ordinary people order genuine parts and follow official guides to fix their own phones and computers. For a company that had resisted for so long, this was a stunning about-face. And it only happened because of the pressure, because of the farmers and the campaigners and the new laws and the millions of ordinary people who simply said, enough. Now, the companies are not giving up easily. They are still fighting hard. They spend huge amounts of money to slow these laws down and to water them down. But think about what that fight tells you. If letting you fix your own things was no big deal, they would not spend a fortune trying to stop it. The sheer fierceness of their fight is proof of how much they have to lose and how much you have to gain. They are fighting this hard because repair, real repair, threatens the whole throwaway machine they have spent decades so carefully building. So why does all of this matter so much? Why should you care about the right to repair? First, it saves you money. A world where you can fix your things instead of replacing them is a world where your money goes much further. Every repair is a purchase you did not have to make. Second, it saves the planet. Every phone, every fridge, every tractor that gets fixed instead of scrapped is a mountain of waste that never happens. Repair is one of the most powerful green acts there is. Third, it brings back good, local jobs. A world of repair is a world full of repair shops and skilled menders in every town. It keeps money and skill and work in your own community instead of sending it all off to a distant factory. And fourth, and maybe most important of all, it gives you back something you did not even realize you had lost. Real ownership. The simple, powerful feeling of holding a thing that is truly, fully yours. Yours to use, yours to open, yours to fix, yours to keep, for as long as you want, answering to no one. That feeling is worth fighting for. And that is exactly what these people are winning back, piece by piece. Now, the companies did not just sit back and let this happen. They fought, with every excuse they could think of, and it is worth hearing their excuses, because once you see through them, the whole thing falls apart. They said, if we let just anyone repair our products, it will be dangerous. People might hurt themselves. Our devices are too complex, too delicate, for ordinary folks and small shops to touch. They said that letting you fix your own things was a threat to your safety, and even to your security. But a funny thing happened. A powerful government watchdog actually studied these claims carefully and wrote up what it found. And its conclusion was clear. There was very little real evidence behind the company's scary stories. The excuses, it turned out, were mostly just that. Excuses. A smokescreen to hide the simple truth that making repair hard is enormously profitable. Once an official body said this out loud, the company's arguments started to crumble. And some of the stories that pushed this movement forward were not about phones or tractors at all. They were about life and death. During a great health crisis, hospitals around the world were desperate to keep their machines running. Machines that helped very sick people breathe. But some of these machines were locked down, just like everything else, so that only the maker was allowed to fix them. Brave repair people had to swap secret information, quietly, just to help hospitals mend the very machines that were keeping people alive. When locking down repair starts to put lives at risk in a hospital, people finally sit up and see how far this madness has really gone. Think, too, about those who rely on a wheelchair to move through the world. There have been cases of people stuck, unable to leave their homes, waiting weeks or even months for a lockdown repair because they were not allowed to fix their own wheelchair or have a local shop do it quickly. For that person, the right to repair is not about saving a few dollars on a gadget. It is about their freedom, their independence, their very ability to live their life. When you hear stories like that, the fight stops being about money and becomes about basic human dignity. And here is what gives this movement such strength. It brings together people who agree on almost nothing else. The farmer and the city phone user. The penny-pinching saver and the green campaigner. People from every side of politics. Because the idea is so simple and so fair that almost everyone, deep down, agrees with it. If you bought it, you should be able to fix it. That is not a left idea or a right idea. It is just plain common sense. And a movement that unites people across all of their differences is a movement that is very, very hard to stop. This fight has been building for years, quietly, patiently. At first, the companies barely noticed. Then they laughed it off. Then they started to fight it. And now, they are losing ground, bit by bit, year after year. More states pass laws. More countries pass rules. More giant companies are forced to open up. Each win makes the next one easier. The snowball is rolling downhill now, and it is only getting bigger. And do not underestimate what a huge shift this really is. For 100 years, the direction was all one way. Things got harder to fix, more locked down, more disposable, year after year. It felt like a law of nature, an unstoppable slide toward a world of throwaway junk. But it was never a law of nature. It was a choice, made by companies, for profit. And choices can be unmade. That is what these farmers and campaigners and lawmakers and ordinary menders are proving. For the first time in a very long time, the arrow is starting to point the other way. Toward repair. Toward lasting. Toward owning our things again. That is not a small thing. It may be one of the quiet turning points of our age. And the most beautiful part is how ordinary the heroes are. There is no single genius, no giant company, leading this charge. It is farmers in muddy boots. It is repair folks in small shops. It is a person watching a video like this one and deciding, next time, to fix instead of throw away. It is millions of small, stubborn acts of common sense, adding up into a force that even the biggest companies cannot ignore. This is a fight being won, not from the top down, but from the bottom up, by people just like you. So how can you be part of this? How do you join the fight? First, buy things that are easy to repair and reward the companies that make them. There are guides and scores online that tell you how reparable a thing is before you even buy it. Every time you choose the reparable option, you cast a vote for a better world. Second, actually use your right to repair. When something breaks, do not just bin it. Look up the fix, order the part, try it yourself, or take it to a local shop. Every mend is a small act of rebellion against the throwaway world. Third, support the laws and the campaigners. When a right to repair law is being debated where you live, let your leaders know that you want it. These laws pass because ordinary people speak up. Your voice really does help tip the balance. Fourth, spread the word. Tell your friends and family what you have learned. Show them that their dead gadget might just need a cheap part. The more people who understand these tricks, the weaker the tricks become. Knowledge, shared, is how this whole thing changes. And most of all, remember the hope. For years, it felt like the companies held all the cards. But that is changing. The farmers proved it. The campaigners proved it. The new laws prove it. When enough people refuse to accept the throwaway world, the throwaway world starts to crack. And it is cracking right now. So the next time something breaks, and a little voice tells you to just throw it away and buy a new one, remember, you have a right to repair. More and more, you have the law itself on your side. And you are part of a growing army of people who are taking back their things, one fix at a time. They spent 100 years building a world designed to fail. And now, at last, people are building a world designed to last. You can be part of that. In fact, just by understanding all of this, you already are. So do not let anyone tell you that this is simply how things are, that waste and locks and throwaway junk are just the price of modern life. That was always a lie. The 1949 toaster proved it. The lasting old machines prove it. And now the farmers and the campaigners and the new laws prove it all over again. A better way is not only possible. It is already being built, right now, all around you. And your part in it is simpler than you might think. You do not have to march, or make speeches, or change the law yourself. You just have to change how you buy and how you throw away. Choose the thing that lasts. Choose the thing you can fix. Mend what breaks, when you can. And tell the people you love what you have learned. Do that, and you are no longer just a customer in the throwaway world. You are a small, but real, part of the movement that is finally bringing it to an end. This has been the story of the fight back. On this channel, we will keep uncovering the tricks, yes, but we will also keep shining a light on the hope and the wins and the simple power you hold every time you choose to fix instead of throw away. Because the throwaway world was a choice, and a world built to last is a choice too. Ours to make, starting right now. And more of us are choosing it every single day. That is how 100 years of throwaway thinking finally begins to end. So stick around. There is a whole lot more to uncover.